Okay, so I get a lot of questions. Oh, welcome to Hair Talks Bag. We're actually going to be talking about hair. And I get a lot of questions on how to grow hair. Okay, so a little introduction on me. I'm Jenna and I'm a senior cosmetologist. I've been doing hair for over 10 plus years. I equate healthy hair to a healthy body. But to just simplify some things, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about hair growth. I get a lot of questions on how to grow hair. I've had several clients who have problems with growing hair due to illness, due to bad practices in hair, due to a lot of things, medication, things like that. So when people ask me, how can I grow my edges back? How can I do this? How can I do that? I always say, okay, what are you doing? Okay, usually when you lose your hair, it doesn't just come from anything. It usually comes from bad practices, either a poor diet or poor practices on your hair. When I say poor practices, meaning you wearing a hairstyle too long, you're wearing a hairstyle that's too tight, you're wearing a hairstyle that's too heavy. That's basically what causes a lot of problems with hair loss. So what is my suggestions? If you were in my salon and I'm giving you a consultation, one thing I would tell you is to never leave in a hairstyle longer than 6 weeks. The reason being is the hair grows a ½ inch a month. So if you are leaving in hair too long, your hair is growing, it's not shedding the way it should be, and it's going to start tangling up, grouping, and start pulling your hair out. It's just like anything. You need to clean out to make room for new. So if you're not able to comb your hair, shampoo your hair, condition your hair is going to start to break off and clump. That's basically what's going to do. So I always say, if you're getting braids, if you're getting a sew-in, or crochets, like this is the new thing about crochet weaves and things like that, don't leave them in a long time. Don't leave it in more than 6 weeks. And within that 6 weeks, that 6 weeks, you need to make sure you go in and get a maintenance from a professional hairstylist. I am a queen of telling people to go to the hair salon. There's nothing wrong with going to the hair salon. I understand now, I'm on YouTube, right? I'm a hairstylist, and when I first started doing hair, professionally back in like 2008, YouTube was not around. I was anti-YouTube. I was scared of YouTube. I thought YouTube was going to take my job. And a lot of people feel like they can do their own hair. They feel like they can come on here and learn how to do everything themselves. And yeah, as a consumer, you do have the right to do your own hair and use your own products and things like that. But you still need a professional like myself. When I say like myself, anywhere you're located, find a hairstylist that can help you to grow hair. It's nothing wrong with that. Many hairstylists like myself need clientele, and we usually work with your budget. We're not here to take your money or to make you broke or whatever, but we do have to make a living. And unfortunately, over the years, I have lost a lot of clientele only because people like to do their own hair. They like to only come into us when problems arise. So it was a little made me a little bit discouraged doing hair, because I'm like, and people only gonna come to me when they have balding. By the time you're bald, unfortunately, there's nothing I can do about it. Once your hair starts to thin, it's really nothing that I can do about it. So I encourage people to just go to the hair salon. If you don't go any more than once a month to get your trim, your treatment. Trim is very important. That's going to be step number 2. You have to get your hair trimmed. If you do not get your hair trimmed, what happens is you start to break off. Your hair just starts to break off from the ends. That's basically what it is. So people say, or you may think, because you're not a professional, you were not trained to go to hair, you didn't go to hair school, so you don't know the makeup of hair. You're like, how is trimming my hair helping my hair grow? Well, let's just keep it real. Your hair grows from your scalp and you retain hair from the tip. So basically, if you're not trimming your ends are getting raggedy and they're breaking off. So your hair is growing. When people say, oh, my hair is not growing, your hair grows every day. Your hair grows post-life, meaning when you die, your hair still grows. Cells are still regenerating even after you live. So you are growing hair. What you're not doing is you're not retaining length. And retaining length is very, very important for hair growth. I mean, you're not going to see your hair grow if you're not seeing the hair constantly growing down. So you're going to instantly think that your hair is not growing, but it is growing. So you have to trim your ends. When you trim your ends, it makes the ends smooth. Therefore, it's not going to break off and you're going to retain your length. So that's going to be number 2. Make sure, or number 1 was, make sure you don't keep in a hairstyle longer than 6 weeks. And number 2 is make sure you retain your length by getting your trims. And this is not something that I feel like you should do yourself, okay? You should go to a professional. When you go over a certain amount of time of not getting your trims, then it is classified in our book as a haircut. Okay, anything over 2 inches is considered a haircut. So it might look like you're getting your hair cut, or the price might be a little bit more higher because the stylist has to do more. Okay, so you want to make sure that you get your trims every 6 weeks. If I'm talking to somebody who has natural hair and you like to get your hair blow dried out, I tend to say every time you get your hair blow dried from curly to straight, you should always get your hair trimmed. It's very, very important. And I know a lot of people are saying, I don't want you to trim my hair. You're going to take too much off. Well, a rule of thumb is anything that you can see through needs to come off. That's basically what we do as professionals. So when I look at somebody's hair and I see that the hair is all frizzy and I can see through it, that's when I'm going to trim that off. You don't need that, because what's going to happen is if you basically keep that on your hair, it's going to grow up and up and up the shaft, and you're not going to be able to do anything with the hair. All you can do is cut it. Okay, so trim. This is very important, the next one. You have to get the right nutrients, and you have to feed your body for it to grow hair. The way the hair grows out, whether it's healthy or unhealthy, depends on what you're putting in it. So if you're not drinking enough water, if you're not getting enough vitamins, your hair is not going to grow out strong. That's basically how it works. Okay, so your hair's not going to grow out strong. So when it grows out, it's going to be weak, it's going to be brittle, and it's not going to be in a condition where you can style it. That's the problem. Okay, so you want to make sure you get your nutrients. What's my diet consist of? A lot of water, a lot of fish. For the omega-3s, water, filtered water. I drink plenty of water a day. I drink about 2 of these a day, maybe 3, depending on my activity. I make sure I get plenty of water. What I place in my water, I place green tea bag without the caffeine, and I also do lemon. I put lemon in my water. So that's what's good for my hair, my nails, and my skin. I pride myself on great skin, great hair, and great nails. Okay, my nails grow with no problem. I have to go to get my nails redone every 10 to 14 days because I have new growth. I just, my nails grow very well. My hair grows very well. I have no problem in that area because, first of all, I eat well. And when I say eat well, I eat for nutrients. Okay, and I drink water and I exercise. If you do not exercise, that's a huge problem. You have to exercise. That's going to be step number 4. Exercise. A body that is in motion grows hair. If you're not in motion, you're not going to grow hair. Circulation is key. So what helps our hair grow is circulating blood through our system. That's basically what it is. So if you are a sedentary person, meaning you don't do much, you don't go out for activity, you don't exercise at least 3 to 4 times a week, you may find that your hair is not growing as well as it should or as quick as it should. We generally grow a ½ inch a month, our hair, a ½ inch. Some people grow more, some people grow less, but typically that's how much hair you grow a month, is a ½ inch. So basically that's 6 inches a year. If your hair is not growing 6 inches a year, that's a problem. More than likely, you're probably not retaining length and you're not getting your nutrients. So if you're a person who doesn't like to trim their hair, your hair is not going to grow. I mean, it's not going to retain length, so it's going to look like it's not growing. So I talk to a lot of natural hair people. This natural hair craze is great. This natural hair craze is great, okay? I love it. I've been natural since it was before all of this, you know, movement of natural hair. I was natural. I went natural because I went to college after my grandparents was not taking care of me like that. After I was 18 years old and I had to go to the hair salon myself, I went natural because I couldn't afford a relaxer and I couldn't afford to go to the hair salon at all. So I went natural, okay? Meaning no chemicals and then all that. So then, after college and I got married and I got into nursing and I got into my career, I just realized that I just like locks. I've been wearing locks off and on since 2004. And locks just works for me. I just love it. I don't have to deal with it much. So unless you're locking your hair, honey, you need to do a lot with your hair when it's natural. Being natural is not saying, oh, I don't need a comb, I don't need a brush, I don't need shampoo, I don't need to go to a hair salon, I don't need to trim my hair, I don't need to do nothing but put a nice little, you know, headband around it and have a big puff and walk around like that. I mean, it's cute for a day, but after a while, when your hair gets so untamed, it gets so thick, you can't do anything with it. The first thing you want to do is either put a weave in it or cut it off or go back to relaxer. So you need to go to someone like me who actually specializes in natural hair. I specialize in natural hair, meaning basically the thicker the better. I can get your hair from very, very kinky to very straight in about 45 minutes to an hour. I devised a way on how to do that in a safe way, how to put heat to your hair, protect the hair, and make sure the hair reverts when you're ready to do so. So that's basically what it is. It's not about a whole bunch of heat. It is about the task and the technique that I do. Okay, and that's because I've been doing it for so long and I know what to do. Everybody's head is different, so the heat is different. My flat irons, I have 4 or 5 pair of flat irons. I know what heat protector to use. I know who's a good candidate for a blowout and who is not, because I study hair. So I always love to tell people to find a hairstylist who specializes in hair care, not natural hair, hair care. And allow us to do our job, people. Allow us to tell you, okay, it's time for your trim, it's time for this, it's time for that. Like, you have to trust us because that's what we study. So yeah, that's what you need to do. Another thing, guys, you need to make sure you understand that being natural means nothing about, oh, you need to co-wash and all that. That co-wash stuff is not correct. Conditioning your hair is for softening the hair. It's for making the hair pliable. It is not to cleanse the hair. Okay, you need to shampoo your hair. There's nothing wrong with shampoo. Sulfate free and all that, that's great, but to be honest, sulfate free does not get the hair as clean as it should be. When your hair is natural, it's thicker, it needs more work, it needs more attention. So a lot of people feel like going natural might be a great decision for them, but to be honest, you really don't know your texture, you don't know what you're gonna get until it starts growing out, and then you realize, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do with my hair. So what do? You just slap a headband on and keep it moving, and that's not good. Okay, you have to shampoo your hair. I'm realizing why a lot of naturals may not want to shampoo their hair. For one, if you don't know how to shampoo your hair gets so matted. When that water hits it, it gets matted, it curls up, it kinks up. You don't know what to do. You can't brush it, can't comb it, you can't blow dry it out. So what do? You put conditioner in it to make your hair more pliable, to soften it up, which is great. But what you're doing, to be honest, is making it more fragile to break off. Okay, so you have to understand that there's a time and place for everything. Conditioner is for softening and shampoo is for cleansing, and you should be doing both at least every 2 weeks. I mean, you need to be shampooing your hair twice a month, just like anybody else. Your hair is no different. Okay, so all my relaxer people, you're the same way. I mean, relaxers are fine, but you still need to make sure that your hair is in good condition. You need to get your trims. You need to make sure you're conditioning your hair. You need to make sure your hair is in a good condition. Don't keep putting your hair in one position all of the time. Don't keep doing that. When you do that, it basically causes breakage. If you like parting and everything, change your parts. Don't put this part in the same way all the time. If you notice that people who wear a part in one area, that part gets wider and wider and wider, so you're getting into alopecia and you don't even know it until it's too late. So don't wear your hair in one position for a long time. Switch it up. If you have any questions, make sure you leave it under this video. Let me see. What else? Guess what? I'm coming up with this in the top of my head because I know hair like the back of my hand. So we talked about nutrition. We talked about exercise. We talked about good practices. And we talked about bad practices. So when people say, how do you grow your hair back? I like to always say, let's talk about how not to lose your hair. I like to talk about that. Now, if you're on medication, let me talk about that. A lot of people, I get a lot of women who are on medication due to diabetes, high blood pressure. Let's just keep it real about high blood pressure and diabetes and the medicines that we take to deal with those two type of conditions. They have things in there that's going to cause stress. You're going to thin out. That's just basically what that type of medication does. It thins your hair out. It causes it your hair not to grow, okay, as fast, because remember, we lose hair. I don't know if I said that, but we do lose 100 strands a day. The only people who don't lose hair is people who are locking the hair. Otherwise, if you're not locking, your hair is going to shed. So that's why people who keep in hairstyles for a long time, and you take braids out and you go and you brush your hair, you see a lot of hair coming out and you're thinking something's wrong. But no, after a while, that's just your hair, that the 100 strands a day that you should have shedded, it just was stuck. And then when you comb it out, it's coming out. That's basically what it is. A lot of people feel like, oh, my hair grows more when it's covered, when I have protective styles. Protective styles are not protecting anything but your hair from being healthy. I don't believe in protective styles. I just feel like it's an excuse for leaving in something too long due to just being lazy or money issues or whatever the case may be. It's not a protective style. It's not making your hair grow. It may look like it's growing because you didn't, touch your hair all that time, and then when you take it out after 2-3 months, of course your hair has grown, but your hair will grow anyway. So you don't need protective styles. And I always say, don't leave protective styles in more than 6 weeks. 6 weeks is tops. That's it. After that, you're going to basically have it where your hair is going to start to lock and mesh, and more than likely, you're going to need a haircut. All right, so we talked about protective styles. So basically, you have to be very responsible about your hair choices. Hair choices causes hair growth or hair loss. Another thing that is very important, if you are someone that is listening to this video and you have dandruff, dandruff is something that you really need to look into, because if you have dandruff, that coating is covering your pores where hair comes out. So if your hair is covered in soiled and is soiled with product, dandruff, or whatever it may be, your hair is not going to grow. So you need to basically rectify your diet. Yes, you can shampoo it out. Yes, there's special shampoos for dandruff, but basically dandruff is from the inside. So it might be your gluten or dairy that you might be eating, sugars, okay? It's just basically saying that you have overly active sebaceous glands, which is the oil glands on the skin, and you need to rectify your diet. Once you rectify your diet, drink more water, and take out a lot of the sugars that you might be eating, you're going to rectify that dandruff problem, and then you may correct the problem of you not growing hair. I've seen so many people who have a lot of dandruff and a lot of buildup in their hair, okay, and then in that spot it just starts to thin and you get bald. Once you're bald and you have alopecia, it's really nothing that a hairstylist can do. You have to go to a dermatologist or trichologist, someone who specializes in growing your hair back. Okay, so I hope I've helped you out. Hair growth is my baby. I know a lot about it. So I just encourage you guys to start taking care of your hair, taking care of your body, okay, and get in to see a hairstylist. There's so many hairstylists out there. You can go to hairstylistsdirectory.com. The I Love Beauty page on Facebook shares a lot of profiles on hairstylistsdirectory.com. That is with an S, okay, and they're all over. We have hairstylists all over on there, so no matter where you're located, there's a hairstylist in your area in the US. Get yourself into a hairstylist. It's very important, because remember, we are trained to do hair. We're not trained to deal with balding. Now, there are some hairstylists out here who are masking the problems with weaves, with glue ends and silk caps and 27 pieces, whatever they're called. I don't even know about them. Okay, that's fine. But I think a lot of women would rather to know how to grow hair and keep hair themselves. So you just have to understand there's a difference between a hair care hairstylist and a hairstylist who's just trying to make you look fly. That's fine too. But if you're listening to this, more than likely you probably have hair issues. So that problem should be solved first before you try to always mask it with a wig and a weave and all that. I'm a fan of growing your own hair, and you're able to do that with the right practices. Okay? So you can go ahead, and if you have any other questions, go ahead and leave it under this video, and I'll come in and I'll answer. Please check out my blog, beautycanread.com. There's some great articles or blogs on there about hair growth. And also, if you're looking for a hairstylist, go to hairstylistdirectory.com. If there's a hairstylist on here listening to this, make sure you get your profile on there as well. It's $50 a year. $50 a year on that hair page, to have a good profile so you can get business. Okay, so I'll come back in another day with some more tips. Thank you for watching, and make sure you're subscribing. Let me see if I can get another like on here. It's 3 likes on here. Let's get another one. Like, share, and subscribe. You can also check out our Facebook page, I Love Beauty, which has live videos of different hairstylists, makeup artists, and what else? And me on there. Thank you for that like too. You have a great evening. Bye-bye.